Hello parents, I'd like to give you a quick walkthrough as to what's been happening here in science class. So to begin with, I want to bring you to a ski resort here, and this can be Mount Science is what we could call this. But it's important to understand a couple of concepts that are related to ski resorts in order to understand really how I'm challenging the students in class. So to begin with, regardless of if we were all skiers or snowboarders or had been before or were just beginning, we could all go to the exact same mountain and we'll say we'll start here at Mount Science. We could take the ski lift to the top, and regardless of our abilities, we could all go from the top of the mountain to the bottom because at ski resorts, they have several different types of runs. The easiest type of run for people that had never skied before are going to be the green circle runs. The green circle runs come here from the top and they kind of weave their way down the mountain, going at a really low angle with not many steep turns. You don't have to have a ton of skill to go on a green circle, but you do have to have some skills in order to access the green circle runs. It's more for beginners though. The second more advanced type of run is going to be a blue square run, and a blue square run is going to come down the mountain in a more steep path. There might be a few trees in the way that you have to avoid, but it's going to go from the top to the bottom, and it's going to require more skills than the green circle would. The black diamond ski runs are going to be the ski runs that basically go from the top to the bottom, pretty much straight down the mountain. These runs are where you find like the moguls. There might even be some jumps on the sides of these runs, some drop-offs, some small cliffs you might have to hit. And then the most advanced type of run would be a double black diamond run. And the double black diamond run is going to be the ones that actually maybe you have to hike a little bit to get out here to this bowl, and then you can go down this bowl, which is super steep, and it's going to have a lot of dangerous aspects to it. It's going to be extreme terrain, and those are the double black diamond runs. Now, all of this is important because as we look at science class, I have created a website that I call the Sci Hub. And if you want to access the Sci Hub, you can use this tiny URL right here by typing this into your web browser, and it will take you to the Sci Hub. So let me show it to you. So here's the home page of our Sci Hub, and right now we're doing a unit that I'm calling Climate Science. And regardless of the unit that we're on, this all will still apply to the students' work. So if we go to the Sci Hub here to Unit 3, you can see we have our long-term learning target, which is I can describe how unequal heating and rotation of the Earth determines regional climates. Well, the reason I explained the ski slope analogy is because the first task that I asked the students to complete is a green circle type of task. So here I'm asking them to distinguish the difference between climate and weather. Now, in order to do this, I've got a list of tasks here. Here in the green circle step of the assignment, there's only 2 tasks in the task list. So the students will use the resources that I provide to complete the assignments, and the assignments that will be graded are here in the bottom in this blue bar. The blue bar shows that there's 2 different assignments. One is their science notebook data page, and that's the weather versus climate page that they use the resources above to complete. The last assignment here is the level up quiz. Now, the level up quiz is on here so that I can make sure that the students gather all the information on this step before they move on without really skipping a step. So in order to complete that level up quiz, the students will scroll down here and click on the green circle level up quiz, which is right here at the bottom of the page. You can see they have to earn 100% on that, and they can take it as many times as they want or until they need to, until they achieve that 100%. Once they do, in class we have a magnet board with different magnets, so then they can move the magnet to indicate that they've moved on to the blue square territory. So once they're ready for the blue square assignments, they can then click the next tab here, the next button. It will take them to the blue square, and the blue square is going to be just a little bit more in depth and closer to achieving our long-term learning target. So now we're going to investigate how the sun's energy has different effects on Earth in different places. In order to do that, the students will complete a list of tasks. Here, there are a couple experiments in this step. There's the part A, followed by the part B with links and information and task steps. It also tells them where to turn in their assignments and also gives them the resources that they need to complete the assignments in class. At the bottom again, we have our assignments. This one has 3 different graded assignments, 1 science notebook page, a presentation that's done on Google Slides, and then their level up quiz, which is here at the bottom. once they complete 100% on that level up quiz, they can then go on to the Black Diamond assignment. The Black Diamond assignment, again, we're getting closer to that long-term learning target. The Black Diamond is really what's going to apply and address this long-term learning target, at least briefly, and it's going to start doing that. And so there's several assignments again. The learning target is to distinguish, investigate, and assess the forces that impact climates across the Earth. And so the tasks are below are going to help the students work towards that learning target. Again, the Black Diamond assignments here are in the blue box in the bottom. There's 3 assignments. The final one is the level up quiz that they have to, again, get 100% on. Now, again, these level up quizzes are only here so that they know that they've achieved all of their steps. It also is a good check-in for me so that I can make sure that students aren't moving on without completing the work in each task. In class, what I'm doing is really helping students on each individual task as they get to it, and wherever they are, I'm doing my best to support the needs that they have. And I'm also able to use the magnets that they have to move in class. I can use that as a way to indicate and figure out where they are in this process. Now, once they complete the Black Diamond tasks, I then provide a double Black Diamond opportunity. The double Black Diamond here is asking the students to analyze a regional climate and assess the various factors that impact its unique weather patterns. So not only are they then describing how unequal heating and rotation of the Earth determines regional climates, like the long-term learning target says, but they're now going a little bit past that in order to really dig into one of those types of climates, one of those regional climates. So in order to get this means that the students have been working really well in class in terms of making progress and staying on task during the class. So there's a nice fun gift there, followed by their assignment. And there's only one assignment on this, but it is kind of an independent research style of assignment. Once they're done, they have then reached the end of the unit, and that there is one unit in science class. Now, I'd like to show you real quickly the calendar, which is here on the Sci Hub up at the top. You can click on that. And this specific unit is starting on the 9th, and it's going to go through the 26th. Now, here it's telling me that I don't have access to the calendar because I've only shared it with the students here at Polaris. And so the unit does go to the 26th, and what that means then is the students have from the 10th to the 26th to work through all those tasks. Now, I've created this wide and open timeline so that the students can work at their own pace, so that they can come into class, work on the tasks that they are on, and really hopefully as they work through the different tasks, if one is challenging, then they're going to be able to spend more time on it, and if something is a little bit more simple or easy for them, they can breeze on through it. All right, so when we look at the actual grading for this process, I'd like to show you the learning targets here on a science notebook page that the students all have in their science notebooks, and this is how they keep track of where they're at. So let me grab my pen here. Let's get some purple. And look at, we have our green circle learning target here, our blue square learning target, our Black Diamond learning target, and our double Black Diamond learning target. Now, each of those learning targets has these assignments below it, which are both on, or all 3 of them are all listed on the Sci Hub. So as the students complete these, they will enter their grade for each of these. Now, let's say that a student gets the weather and first climate science notebook page. Really, in order to be able to be successful on the level up quiz, then they should have a filled out science notebook page. But I will go through and I'll check that, and I'll make sure that they get at least a 3 or better on that in order to really continue moving on. If they get less than a 3, then I'll ask them to go back and revise. Now, no matter what, in order to move on to the blue square, they have to get a 4 or 100% on this level up quiz. Now, as they move throughout the assignments, they're going to get graded on each one. And so let's say they get a 3, and then they get a 3.5, and then they get a 4. Now, if the end of the unit arrives at this point, and the student has only gotten to this point, first off, since we have a couple weeks or a long period of time, what I deem as the necessary amount of time to get to this point, if they've only gotten through the blue square tasks, then they haven't quite reached the level or gotten in depth enough on this information to really earn a 4 in the class. So instead, the way that I've got this organized is that if the students only completed the green circle tasks, the maximum grade that they could earn in this unit would be a 2. The maximum grade for completing the blue square tasks would be a 2.5. The maximum grade after completing the Black Diamond tasks would be a 3, and the maximum grade after completing the double black diamond tasks would be a 4. So there might be a point where a student gets only to the end of the black diamond. Now, in my eyes, that learning target is actually applying and addressing the long-term learning target, and so that's why they get a proficient grade. If they want to get an advanced grade, or a 4, which is similar to an A+, they must go above and beyond and really show that they can dig into this long-term learning target. And so it's their task in class to come in and do science, to be focused and use time management skills to move from the green circle to the blue square, from the blue square to the black diamond, and from the black diamond to the double black diamond. Now, this is something that's a little bit different, and I'm releasing the responsibility for students to come in and work during their class time and to use their class time appropriately. And so part of the teaching in this style of science is that I'm really teaching them some time management skills, and I'm trying to encourage them to use their class time appropriately. So that's my job in the class, is to keep everyone on task, and their job is to do the science that I've presented on the website, and I'm also here to help and support them as they go through this. And so if you have a student that says that that was an optional assignment, they're kind of correct in that assumption that maybe the Explore a Climate product could be optional. But if they have enough time in the end of the unit, then it's not really an optional assignment, and I'll be encouraging them to dig into that assignment so that they can really show their learning that they've gathered over the course of the unit. Now, at the very end of every unit, we're going to have a summative assessment. And a summative assessment is going to ask the students to take what they've learned throughout the unit, and they will then get a grade on that final test. Now, it will be a little bit of a stretch where they have to take everything that we learned in the unit and apply it to some questions that I asked them, and give me some written responses for their summative assessment. So, for example, if this were our Unit 3 on climate science, the students would get a Unit 3 grade that was related to the different tasks: the green circle, the blue square, the black diamond, and the double black diamond. For whatever level of task they complete, they would get a grade for that. So let's say that this student completed the black diamond and got a 3.5 because they also got started on the double black diamond, or maybe they got to the double black diamond but didn't meet all of the actual requirements. So let's say they have a 3.5. Now, they would also be taking the summative assessment. And so on the summative assessment, they would take what they learned in the unit and they would apply it to these types of questions that would ask them to stretch a little bit beyond what they learned in class, and to use what they learned in class to apply it to some questions that would be able to kind of gauge how much they were able to grasp. And so they would also get a grade for their summative assessment, and let's say they get a 3. Now, together, this Unit 3 is weighted at a 1.0 weight, and the summative assessment is weighted at 0.5. So together, these would come together to give them their overall science grade. And so, as you can see, I have not used Google Classroom in this example. However, there are some things that will be turned in on Google Classroom that I'd like to highlight quickly. The experiment presentation is turned in this example on Google Classroom, as well as the YouTube binge assignment, as well as the Explore a Climate product if they decide to do that. So not everything is actually going to be posted on Google Classroom. Many things are actually going to be in their science notebooks, and the students will be completing those in class, and I will actually be going through and I'll be checking those after they get those done in class. So really the best conversation that you can have with your student in terms of science class is, where are you on the ski slope right now? And in order to help them kind of keep track of that, you could also be looking at the calendar, or you could have them show you the website. So Google Classroom is definitely a component, and it allows us to turn in digital assignments, but it's not going to be where all of our stuff lives. It will just be a point where students can kind of go and turn in their work. So I hope that this helps clear up some things in our science class. And again, if you have any further questions, please send me an email or contact me in some way. And my email address is inwolverton@psdschools.org. All right, I look forward to teaching your students about science. Take care.